7 o'clock, I'd like to call the Noblesville Common Council meeting to order. Mr. Boyce, would you lead us in the pledge?
Yes, sir. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Lees, would you do the roll call, please?
Mr. Ayer?
Present.
Mr. Boyce?
Present.
Mr. Hampton?
Here.
Mr. Jensen?
Present.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Mr. O'Connor?
Present.
Mr. Peterson?
Here.
Mr. Taylor? Ms. Wiles?
Present.
Mr. President, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Lees. Approval of executive session memorandum, February 12th, 2019.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, raise your hand. Carries 8-0. Approval of minutes, February 12th, 2019.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, raise your hand. Eight to one abstention. Seven with one abstention. All right. 7 with one abstention, Ms. Lees. Approval of the agenda,
Mr. President,
Ms. Wiles.
I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add miscellaneous item number 1, council to consider resolution number RC-5-19, a resolution concerning the acquisition of real estate.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to amend. To move the motion to, you threw me off by throwing stuff.
Sorry.
This will be a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries 8-0, 9-0. Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, raise your hand. 9-0. Petition or comments by citizens who are present, I have none. Mayor's report to council.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council. Brandon, would you and your team please come forward? I attended the Indiana Parks and Recreation Association Awards Dinner for a reason, which I want to announce. I think we put some press releases out, but I'm happy and very, very proud of our Parks and Recreation team. They were voted the best agency in the state of Indiana. And congratulations. And Randy was recognized as a distinguished professional, if I'm not mistaken, lifetime member of the Parks Association. So Randy Neff does a great job, and we're going to lose him to retirement and grandbabies in March, I believe. He's smiling on that one, certainly. But congratulations.
Congratulations, Randy.
One thing, I've seen a lot of awards given, was only at the table. I realized the Parks Association sends those applications to another state. And they, again, very objectively grade them, which is, to me, even more impressive. And our state obviously reciprocates. But, again, it wasn't a political deal or whatever. And so, to me, it's just a great way to do it. I maybe recommend that AIM or others do that as well. But, Brandon, congratulations. Would you like to say a few remarks?
Of course. I saw your agenda was short, and anytime I get a chance to talk about Parks and Rec, you know that I could be pretty passionate about it, but I will keep it short for you tonight. First off, I want to mention Randy Neff and the Distinguished Lifetime Member Award that that he received. That is a very elite honor in our profession. There's only about 20 to 25 that have received it over the lifetime of the association. And actually, Noblesville has two now. Don Seal received it back in 2014. So he's in good company. It was interesting to see Randy when he gets up there to make his speech, and he starts off with, well, I'm not much of a public speaker. And then he absolutely just had the place in tears, and it was fantastic. He did a great job. So we're going to miss Randy when he leaves. He's left an impression after 27 years on this department. Started as the maintenance superintendent, has been in that position the entire time here. He can probably tell you stories of what it was like back in the 1992 and where we've grown to now. But Randy's been a mentor and a leader for me as well. And just one little quick thing about him that's kind of stuck with me, and I think always will for what I do, and I think what we all do here, is Randy's a big man of faith, and that's a lot of what guides him. And he's got a sign in his window as he's walking out his hallway out of the maintenance building, and it says 4 words, and it says, "We depart to serve." And so we're reminded, our guys are reminded, our team is reminded every day of those 4 words. You can take them how you want them, but at the end of the day, what we do is serve every day. And as we move on, that's kind of the lesson that I took from, one of the big lessons I took from Randy. But as we move on and look at this award that this agency received, certainly it's not an award for me, it's not an award just for this team, but it's an award for this whole community, and especially the administration and the council who's done so much to support us over the years. And we just want to say thank you, and we appreciate everything you've done for us and allowing us to throw some ideas against the wall, get a little bit crazy sometimes, and have some fun, because that's what we do. But whether it's our golf division that is running a 36-hole operation that is just in unbelievable shape and does a great job every year, and we're looking at continue to make improvements there, or our recreation division that's running thousands of people through programs and special events, or our community development division that's raising less or close to $100,000 a year in sponsorships and support and partnerships, or our maintenance division whose simple mission is clean, safe parks, or our administrative division whose job is to really support all those other divisions, quite honestly. So I couldn't be more proud of this team. They have 3 words. I have 3 words I like to describe them with, and this group of people behind me, plus those that couldn't be here tonight, really deserve all the recognition. But those 3 words, and I learned this through a staff retreat and what they do every day, but those 3 words are passion, ownership, and pain. Was it pain? No, not pain. Passion, ownership, and pride. It's the pop theory that we have here. Passion, ownership, and pride, and that's what every one of these people embodies. So thank you again for all the support. I really do appreciate it. I know this team does too. And we're not going to rest on our laurels. We're going forward and trying to make Noblesville even better than it already is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations. Mm-hmm. Brandon, I'm going to drop. I think I just saw a park board member. Scott's going to get recognized out here in the hallway too. So Scott Knowles, a member of that board. We had a Boy Scout breakfast. Many of you were there. We set another record. I was pleasantly surprised. We weren't quite where we had been in past years, but we did set another record. I don't mean to be bragging a little bit, but we've raised $750,000, give or take a few thousand, since I've been mayor. So, and I've said this before, it's the mayor's Boy Scout breakfast. If I'd have had previous to this position an insurance guy's breakfast, we'd have raised $75. So we just take that title and run with it for a great cause. We have a scout here in the council chambers tonight learning about government. Had a good meeting with NDOT last Friday afternoon. Went to Main Street's annual meeting. They're doing very well and very well organized. Cut a ribbon at DeRes Visual Reality. Now, for you young guys, this is games on the wall and all of that. and that's about all I know. But it's a young entrepreneur and his wife that are doing this. They're out in the town center, so always nice to have new businesses in the city. I attended the charity basketball game between East and West girls basketball. It's Christy and John Bias's granddaughter, Abby, Haley, thank you for the Haley, has raised $28,000 for leukemia and lymphoma. And after, I don't know what she did Saturday, was able to do Saturday, but she's just he's junior in high school. And again, you just appreciate that passion and what she's able to do for those folks. Congratulations to our bowlers. We won the Prevail Bowl-a-thon on Saturday. One reason we won it, I did not bowl, but I think we've gotten that about 6 or 7 times, Brandon's MC of that, in the last 10 years. So we did that. Are there any questions of me? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And Brandon, thank you and your whole team for what you do. I know a lot of long, hard hours go into it and vision, and we appreciate it, so thank you. Council committee reports.
President.
Ms. Wiles?
I have a couple of reports for you. The first is regarding the Finance Committee that met last Thursday, February 21st. First was an item about the Noblesville Township Fire and EMS contract, where Chief Wyatt has been talking with the Noblesville Township Board, and he offered up a suggestion to help simplify their contract, which they were very much in favor of doing so. And so we're looking to do a 1-year contract and then invite them to come and be a part of the budget meetings when we talk about fire protection later this summer, so that we can be thinking about the contracts for future years. So they were very pleased with that discussion and opportunities. Mr. Spalding has provided all of you with a quarterly year-to-date reports on financial status of the city. So hopefully you all have had a chance to take a look at that. Things are moving forward with the Campus Center bonding project. Actually, Mr. Howard said it closed today, so that's exciting news. We talked about funding plan for right-of-way acquisition, and that really a majority of those dollars should come out of the MVH fund, or the Motor Vehicle Highway Fund, as well as potentially the local roads and streets funds. We have an item later on our agenda that will be funded out of the MVH fund for property acquisition. There's been a few other items on the Finance Committee's agenda, but we're just continuing to move forward. OpenGov, Mr. Spalding actually has a meeting about that tomorrow, so we're continuing to move forward with all of that. So the claims come to you with a recommendation from the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Ms. Wiles.
And then the other item that I'd like to share with you is that the Downtown District Committee met just this afternoon, and we have some exciting news, that especially in regards to Seminary Park, where a grant was applied for from the Community Block Development Grant, and we have been awarded that grant, so we'll be able to move forward with that construction and for the improvements to Seminary Park. We anticipate the groundbreaking might happen sometime in late April, maybe early May, and so we're excited to see what's happening there at Seminary Park. The committee talked a lot about very exciting things like planters in the downtown Noblesville, but let me tell you, we are trying to do our best to make it look awesome in downtown. We're moving forward with street light updates and improvements and switching them out so that all of the fixtures in the downtown area are black, so that's the street lights, the trash cans, the park benches. And so some of the street lights that we had recently ordered came in with the wrong fitting for the base, and that was a manufacturing problem, and so that's being retrofitted so that we can install those fixtures, and they're actually going to be replacing all of the green fixtures that we installed previously with the black fixtures that will match up with what we'd recently ordered. So progress is moving forward on that, and we're excited about that. There was an update on alley activation, and hopefully there will be a community building owner and business owner and tenant meeting later in March to talk about some of those plans. So we're excited to see some more improvements happening in downtown.
Thank you, Ms. Wiles. Any other committee reports? If not, we'll move on to approval of claims.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and second to approve the claims. That'll be a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 9-0. New ordinances for discussion. Council to consider ordinance 11-02-19, an ordinance to reestablish the cumulative capital development fund tax rate and establish a public hearing. Mr. Spalding is not here, so I believe Ms. Lees is going to give that.
Introduce.
Second.
Good evening. Mr. Spalding had a scheduling conflict, and he asked me to fill in because I've sat in on all the meetings where this has been talked about. This is a very routine ordinance. We need to do it every year because of a rather perplexing state law that will change the intended rate that you voted for unless you do this every year. So this is not increasing any taxes at all. It's just to maintain it where you wanted it to be. At the next meeting, there will be a public hearing if you choose to establish that tonight. And you will vote on it then, and I'm sure if you have any other questions, Mr. Spalding will be happy to answer them then.
Any questions of Ms. Lees? We have a motion to establish public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to establish public hearing on item 11-02-19. All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Miscellaneous number 1, council to consider resolution RC-15-19, a resolution concerning the acquisition of real estate. Mr. Howard.
There wasn't anybody listed, so I thought I'd better step up here. This resolution concerns a piece of property located at 806 South 9th Street. This is, again, another piece of property that we're buying with a willing seller as part of the right-of-way acquisition for the future Pleasant Street project. By law, we have to have 2 appraisals to justify the purchase price, and we have to have a resolution by this council to authorize the appraisals and to move forward with the acquisition. And with that, I'll stop and answer any questions.
Questions of Mr. Howard? I do believe Ms. Wiles did touch on this will be funded through the MVH fund at this point.
President,
Ms. Wiles,
I would make a motion that we approve Resolution RC-5-19, a resolution concerning the acquisition of real estate.
Second.
been moved and seconded to approve RC-5-19. All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Council comments. I do apologize to anybody that had to drive from very far for tonight's meeting. Any council comments? Motion to adjourn?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor, raise your hand.
We are adjourned.
No, 18, tied with my record. I would have slowed that.